All right. Hello and welcome back to all of you guys. For some of you guys that weren't here last week or that you were here, welcome back. So excited. So first off, I'm going to say a couple of names for Refuah Shlema, um, in honor of the shiur that Bezrat Hashem, they're going to have a full Refuah Shlema and Lekol Chole Amo Yisrael. So we have Ruti Bat Karin Esther, Chaim Ben Miriam, Shani Bat Chagit. Uh,
Amen.
I mean, I can continue a whole list, but if anyone wants to share, or just have it in mind while we're doing the shiur. Um, so I'm going to keep all those people in mind because it's always just important while you're doing mitzvot to keep these types of people in mind. And may they have a full refuah shlema. Bezrat Hashem, briut ad 120. Okay, so may Hashem, Bezrat Hashem, give me the proper words to convey the messages um, in this Shaar Habitachon. I always divert from the book, by the way. So like I keep trying to get to chapter one and I'm like still on the introduction because I always just Hashem has his own plan of what I say and it's for each and every one of you. So hopefully it will pierce your neshamot and you really will get something from it because that's what it's all about. So a while back, we were discussing a little bit about the alchemist. Okay, the alchemist back then was a person who counterfeited. It was like a counterfeiter of money. Okay, back then he did like counterfeiting of gold and silver. So basically, his work was illegal. Okay. We discussed a little bit more about what the alchemist versus a person with bitachon have in common and how they're different. Okay, so I'm not going to go so much into it. I'm kind of just wrapping that part up because it was really hard to explain and I think it just confused everyone. But I will say it very quickly. So there's 10 different ways in which the alchemist is different than a person with Baal Bitachon. Okay. A Baal Bitachon is obviously someone that doesn't have 50% trust in Hashem. A Baal Bitachon is someone that lives, breathes, walks like everything is a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Everything is Abba Sheba Shamayim. Everything that he sees, everything that he sees it in the perspective of God. Okay. So that's really a Baal Bitachon. May we all reach that level, Bezrat Hashem, but that's what I mean when I say Baal Bitachon. So there was 10 different ways in which he was different, okay? So the first way was that he always was worried, okay, the alchemist was always worried on how to attain materials for his work. Because he was a counterfeiter of gold and silver, he was always worried to find the right materials in order to work because what he was doing was illegal, okay? For someone with a Baal Bitachon, okay, we're not talking about the alchemist. It's guys, it's a symbolic thing. When I talk about the alchemist, we're talking about anyone, let's say nowadays, that doesn't have bitachon in Hashem, right? Someone that's successful. You see all these successful people, whether it's in their families, they're successful, in their parnasa, in their health, whatever. Sometimes you look at them and you're like, oh, like I wish I was like that, right? But that type of person is the alchemist, okay? What is a Baal Bitachon? Okay, how does it change? So an alchemist is a physical person. He's constantly looking for materials for his work, right? Someone is constantly looking for the gashmiut, the material things, okay, in life, right? But a Baal Bitachon knows that no matter which situation he's in, Hashem will always find a way to help him. No matter what, whether it's physical challenges, meaning like health, parnasa, a zivugim, having a child, any type of challenge, it's basically saying that someone that has full bitachon in a Kadosh Baruch Hu, which of course we're going to learn how to get there, they don't need to find a way because Hashem finds the way. Hashem figures it out. Okay? When you're constantly trying to figure things out, just know that you're veering away from being a Baal Bitachon. Okay? You're the alchemist in this case, okay? Which a lot of us are alchemists. It's okay. Like it's not something to feel ashamed of. It's normal. We're human, okay? And it also does not mean, I want to repeat this very important. It doesn't mean that you don't have emotions, right? It doesn't mean that because I'm a Baal Bitachon, then I don't feel sad, I don't feel anger, I don't feel. No, that's like, if you think about it, what does Hashem say? Hashem says, Tavodoti besimcha, right? serve me with happiness. If an emotion is not important or we don't have it because we're bad bitachons, then joy is also an emotion. Emotions are necessary for us to combine the real experience of being a human and the spiritual experience of also having our neshama. Okay. And understanding how to channel those emotions. So it's okay to feel sad, anxious, anger, whatever it is. But what direction is it taking you? Is it taking you down the rabbit hole, black hole, you can't see out of it? Or is it taking you like, okay, I need to feel sad for like the time being, but I'm gonna get over it. Hashem's gonna strengthen me and we're gonna move forward, right? That's okay to have those emotions. Very normal, very okay. Okay. If anyone has questions on that, please raise your hand. Let me know. Like, I would love to explain it if it wasn't clear enough. Okay, so second thing, okay, that we're different than the alchemist. The alchemist can be harmed through labor, okay? Just like any person can be harmed, okay? But a Baal Bitachon is safe from harm. Okay. And it's a very like kind of controversial topic because like what do you mean he's safe from harm? How many people that have bitachon are like actually in harm's way or God forbid they get sick or they get into car accidents or whatever it is. Okay. But a lot of times what's harmful for us and what causes us suffering is about the perspective. It's not about what happens to us. So for example, of course, I'm going to choose myself as an example because who else would I choose? It's about me. Um, if when right now, when I had the challenge, right, and I was diagnosed, right? Yes, a normal person, the alchemist would be like, you're in harm's way, right? There's no other like perspective on this, right? Like you're in harm's way. But a person that has bitachon, all of a sudden looks at this like, wow, like this is an opportunity, okay? To serve Hashem, okay, through the difficulty, through the challenge. And with the difficulty, with the challenge, okay, to rise to a greater level. Okay, now, for some people, they're looking at me like, all right, she's cuckoo. Like, how am I going to get to that? You're not normal. That's not normal. Like, we don't get to that. But a Baal Bitachon does get to that. So when I'm saying harm, it's really about a perspective, right? It's not necessarily harm is necessarily based on what you believe is harm towards you. Someone can go through a very difficult challenge, and for some person, they're like, I'm suffering every single day. And the other person's like, all right, well, give it to me, Hashem. I know you give me the strength anyways. So that's the difference. Okay. So very big difference, but hopefully we will all get to that, Bezrat Hashem. Third, um, he basically the alchemist is very because he's a counterfeiter and he's illegal, okay, he does things illegally. He's scared to kind of share information with other people, okay, versus someone that has bal bitachon. He's not scared, he's not hiding from anyone, okay, he's not scared of anyone. Okay, so a normal person may be scared of people's thoughts of them, people's opinions of them, whatever it is. Bal bitachon, all right, I got nothing to hide. Like me and Hashem we're buddies here. Like I don't need your acceptance, your recognition, your validation. I have nothing to hide. I'm a Jew, I have an neshama, and I'm connected to Kadosh Baruch Hu, which is the most important. Okay. Unfortunately, we don't live in this type of world where many people feel that way because we're constantly embodied with like needing attention, needing validation from others, needing to prove ourselves to others. Okay. But when we have Hashem and when we understand that everything that comes in your life and everything that is directed towards you is only from our Father above. Only. Okay. They say that really no one can harm or heal you if it's not what Hashem wants. So when a Baal Bitachon understands that, he doesn't hide anything. He doesn't feel like he needs to protect himself because he knows that he's already protected by the master of the universe, which is the most important. Okay? Moving on. There's the fourth, okay? He's always concerned with like his stock, okay? Like his materials, okay? We, the alchemists, okay, are always concerned with sustaining ourselves, right? Woman, okay, we're always looking, go to the grocery store, go this, go do that. And if I don't do it, then no one's gonna do it and everything's gonna go crazy. We're so controlling and we think that literally, like if it's not for us, then the world is gonna collapse. Nope. Bal bitachon, God doesn't need these materials. He sustains. He takes care. I want to say something very, 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 very like it just like I wish these girls were on here because like they'll see the recording. I have to send it to them, but it really, really makes me emotional. Like I'm like about to cry. But basically in Birkat Hamazon, it says that Hashem will always sustain you. About a bitachon, they will always sustain you. Someone that is his child, he will always sustain you no matter what. What does that mean? I didn't understand what that meant until I went through what I went through. And I could tell you that from when I got diagnosed, I think even before I started treatment, which it was almost 4 months ago, okay? I have a group of girls, okay? And we're not saying that they were like my best friends before. They were friends of mine. One of them was like a really, really close friend, but the other ones were friends of mine from the community, from people in my past. Um, Amazing girls. But every single day, they made sure that I had food on my table for not only me, for my family as well. Every single day until today, okay, they come and they bring me food and they make sure that not only am I being sustained, but so is my daughter and so is my husband. And it's just so crazy to me because it's not like best friends that you expect them to do that. It's people that really, really understand the beauty of Avat Israel and understand that if another Jew is in a hardship, then they're also with it. They're also with you in it. And it's crazy because I thought for the first week, 2 weeks, okay, nice, like it's not gonna last. I would have never expected that until today, like every single day they make sure, and if one of them can't, oh, don't worry. They make sure that another person comes and brings me food. And so what I'm trying to say from this is that first of all, thank you to those that are just incredible. Like may Hashem bless you with just like abundance of blessings in your life with your family and with yourselves and really it's like I don't even have the words. It's like an incredible mitzvah and a beautiful thing to see, like Davat Israel. But it's also if you look back at what I said with the perspective of Hashem's perspective, we realized that it was Hashem sustaining. It was Hashem sustaining me, right? It's like as a mother, right? When you go through something so difficult, you believe that you're the mother, you're the one that's holding the house, you're the one that if I fall sick, then the whole house goes to shambles. But Hashem reminds you, I'm here. None of it is actually you. That was all an illusion. What you think is, oh, me, and I gotta do, and I gotta feed, and I gotta this, and I gotta go. No, because I could tell you from my own experience, when I couldn't do that, Hashem just sent. He sent malachim to my door and just sustained me. So when you understand the beauty, and I'm not saying that I'm a bar bitachon, I have a lot more to go, but I'm saying that you don't have to be a bar bitachon for Hashem to sustain you. You're just his daughter to understand that. But a bar bitachon is able to recognize that it came directly from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that when you think you're the one that sustains, you're the one in the illusion. You're just in your own illusion because it's not true. You don't sustain yourself. You don't sustain your family. You don't sustain your kids. Your Hashem sustains everything for you. Okay, let's move on. So we have number 5. He had fear. Okay, the alchemist worries about people finding out his secret. We can use day-to-day examples. We fear all the time. We live in a generation of fear, Fear, okay? Anxiety all the time, right? We live in a generation where people are literally medicated because we're constantly fearful. We're constantly afraid, right? And we can't live normally because of this fear. And a Baal Bitachon doesn't have any fear at all. At all. Literally, he has no fear. He doesn't have any fear of things happening to him because he understands, okay, even if happens to me, who's on my side? HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's by me. He's standing by me. Whoever gives you the positive blessings in your life, whoever gives you the beautiful things in your life, is the same source of the same thing that's giving you the challenges, the difficulties. So there's no fear. Why would you fear? Do you fear having a beautiful daughter? Do you fear getting married? Do you fear going on vacation? Do you fear getting a new car? No, we don't fear the good things, right? But if it comes from the same source, and when you really, really kind of like compartmentalize and you really understand and break it down, and you understand, okay, but it's the same source. I'm getting the same thing from the same exact entity. So why would I be scared for something that looks bad, right? So the thing is here is that it gets a little tricky because we don't blame ourselves ever. It's always the outside that we blame, right? Like a lot of times it's not like we sit and we do isbodedut and we think about what the things we did wrong and what we did right. So a lot of times, right, when something doesn't go our way or when we consider it bad, okay, what's going on? This is horrible. I'm suffering. This is a terrible thing because you're constantly looking outwards. You're never looking internal. You're never really saying, okay, one second. When something is really hard for you, when something is considered bad, okay? When you think about it as bad, you're the one thinking it's bad. You. You're the one that created that. You alone created that illusion that that was bad, that that is bad. Just as much as if I see something and I look at it as good, then all of a sudden it's good. Hashem, if we understand who God is and we understand who Hashem is, which we haven't understood, that's the thing. That's also, I think, why we suffer a lot from anxieties and fears, because we haven't understood who our Abba is. We haven't understood where the source is coming from. And when we really get to know him and we really get to reflect a little bit back, just go a little backwards, right? From when you were in your mother's womb until today. Who sustained you there? Who took care of you there? All of a sudden, when we got to an age where maybe we went through something difficult and all of a sudden we got scared of it, and then we became in this like cycle of fear, and we constantly shut down more and more, and we created a very constrictive environment for Hashem to enter. And like a lot of you guys know, my famous line is Hashem is not a trespasser. Okay? He doesn't trespass into property. So when you constrict your light, when you constrict your neshama, when you constrict your perspective, then Hashem's like, hello, like, give me space. I can't get in here. You're constantly anxious all day, every day, and you're literally not giving any space for me to come in. So how can I come in? And that's when fear eats you. It eats you alive. I want to like share something personal. Like I'm really not gonna lie, but like treatments are very difficult. Like very difficult mentally, physically, like it is a trauma over and over again that you go through. And it's like you live basically 2 weeks out of the month because the other 2 weeks you're like not functional. But through that, right, even though it's very difficult, and even though, like there was times where really even before, like the day before, which is today, right, the day before, it's very tough for me. Like I have to go through a whole like anxious rabbit hole because I like know what's coming, right? I know that it's like another week of, feeling bad and not feeling good and not being able to be there for my daughter. And there's a whole thing, right? It goes through a whole process. But last time when I was in treatment, I read this book and it was called Habitachon Really Works. If anyone wants it, you can separately message me and I can send you the book. It's incredible. And it talks about the psychological perspective scientifically, and it brings in bitachon in like Torah, okay? And it talks a lot about anxiety and our uncomfortability nowadays and where it takes us, right? And it explains that a lot of it is our ego. A lot of it is we're so protective over ourselves that we create this illusion of it's very difficult and I'm suffering, right? When you don't understand the full picture, so then you're very constricted and then you feel a lot of pain. Okay, so I'll give you an example. I gave this in my other shiur, but I didn't record it, so I'm going to say it again. If a person is going through a burning building, okay, and he needs to get out, what's the main goal here? The main goal is I need to save my life, I need to get out. Okay, this is the main goal. But in order to get out, okay, I need to pass through broken glass everywhere, okay? And it's gonna go through my legs and my arms, and that's the only way I can get out of the building. Do you believe that the person who is trying to save his life, do you really think that he feels the pain of the sharded glass on his, like piercing through his skin? You can answer. Now I see if anyone's paying attention. Anybody?
No,
Can
you
you
repeat
repeat
the
the
question.
question?
Bibi, you're so cute.
What
I'm
answer?
cracking up.
Doesn't
And I
feel
just
it. He's
joined.
numb
He doesn't feel it. Why doesn't he feel it?
because he's so focused on getting out.
Exactly. Because the main goal, the main base, the main point is I need to save my life. There's something bigger here. There's a bigger point to all of this, right? I need to save my life. When we feel pain and we suffer through uncomfortability, right? And when it's something very difficult, then either your perspective is too constrictive and you need to widen your perspective, right? You really need to widen your perspective. You need to open your eyes and understand that there's a bigger picture here. When Rabbi Akiva was literally skinned to death, okay, they say that he didn't even feel the pain. How is that even possible? How is it possible that he didn't even feel the pain and he was smiling? Because he had the perspective. He had the widened perspective of what this was all for. He understood that in the moment that he was suffering physically, it really was at that point where he reached such a level that he 100% served Hashem. He got to that point where he was able to say fully in his neshama, in his whole being, that I served you, Abba. I gave to you. So, of course, I'm not saying that everybody needs to be Rabbi Akiva. Of course, we should strive always. But I'm saying that if we're talking about real life things, we're saying that when we're uncomfortable, when things are fearful, when we're feeling anxiety, when we're feeling like we can't focus on something, when we feel like things are very overwhelming, check on your perspective. Check on where you are. Are you focused on the bigger picture? Are you focused on the fact that you're in a Shema and that you're here for something? That it's not just about you? It's not about you, right? Like when we're constantly focused inward, inward, inward. Oh, this hurts me. I'm uncomfortable. I'm anxious. I'm stressed. I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, that. Then you're constantly increasing the ego. And the ego is the Yetzer Hara. When you let go and you understand, 1 second, I don't understand everything. I don't. Someone sustains me. An entity sustains me higher than me. Number one, nothing can harm or heal me if it's not a Kadosh Baruch Hu, if he doesn't decide that. And even if he harms you, harm is only a perspective. It's not necessarily what it is. Okay? Suffering is only a perspective, guys. I know it sounds like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean? People suffer. No, there are many people that you see have lost children, have went through so like really horrible things. And when they talk fully of bitachon and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And you literally look at them like, are you like what? I don't get it. Like, how do they? And they live a joyful life. But how does that make sense? Because they understood on a deeper level, a real deep level, that Hashem natan, Hashem lakach. Hashem u akol yodea, right? And it's very easy to say, but when you go through challenges and you really deeply ingrain that part of you to understand that you don't understand. One of my friends said it, and I thought it was so, so beautiful. And she said, just as physically your brain is literally this big, let's say, okay? You see that the brain itself physically has a limit. So how can you believe or how can you think that you know everything or that you can understand why Hashem did what he did? Even your brain physically is limited. So is your mind, right? Hashem created physicality to also explain to us that we are limited. There is a limit. The sky is limit, right? Space, it doesn't go more up than that. Like we don't like there's limits to things, right? The ocean, it stops. There's a limit, right? We Hashem created the world in a way where we can learn from the whole basics of what we need to think about, what we need to approach things with, because that's the whole point. When you look at nature, when you look at the world itself, you learn so much from what Hashem wants from us, right? When we really take a moment and just kind of like look around, there's so much we can learn. There's so much we don't know, right? So take a moment and really like take a step back when you're fearful, when you're anxious, when you're overwhelmed, when you understand that you're constricting yourself. And know that at the end of the day, when an uncomfortability or a struggle or a challenge befalls you, there's something beautiful. And I want to read it to you guys. I got it from a book, and it says, instead of saying, I've got to do this. Like, I've got to do this. It's like so annoying. I've got to do this. Or, I'm so stressed. I've got to do this. You say, I get to do this. I get to do this, right? You build this perspective of all of a sudden, like, I get the ability to serve you in this way, right? When I was diagnosed, right? Like, I know it's funny, but one of the first thoughts I thought, besides the fact that I was like literally about to faint, I was like, you believe in me this much, Hashem? Like, these are like the stories that people tell that you look at and you're like, oh wow, like she did it, like she got through it, she's so like cool, like whatever. I'm like, you believe in me this much? So in a lot of ways, instead of being like, oh, like I've got to go through all of this, I try to say, I get to go through all of this, right? I get to have the ability. And I know it sounds, guys, I know it sounds like hard. It's not easy. I just told you about my own vulnerabilities of that it's very hard for me the day before. And I really try to work on it. But it does help to change that perspective of saying, like, Hashem, I get to serve you like this. I get to serve you in the chemo room when they have to give me treatments for 4 or 5 hours, and I literally have to sit there and I have to get it in, and then I have to feel nauseous and feel bad. But I get to serve you in this way, in this vulnerable way, and to say that it's all from you. I get to do that. Like, not everybody can get to do that. Not everybody, Hashem, can really look at you and be like, wow, like my daughter doesn't just appreciate me when I get her pregnant or when she gets a zivug or when she gets a beautiful house. It's my daughter also appreciates me even when it's a struggle, even when it's so difficult that you just want to cry and you're like, no one gets it. Like I literally like sometimes I'm like there's no point of even talking about it because like no one gets it. Like no one can really understand like sometimes the loneliness that you feel or the anxiety that you feel or the trauma, right? That you feel even after all of this, right? Even after dealing with a sickness, right? Like how to live a proper and healthy life afterwards, right? Like forever, which it's funny because I could easily say like, what am I going to do after? Like, am I going to freak out every second? Like, I'm going to look at my throat and feel like my body all the time and stress. But I said, you know what? Instead of I've got to do this, I get to be able to constantly work on my bitachon with you. I constantly get to push through the challenge and to push through the fears, which I will have. Don't think. You think that after the treatment, that's it? No, of course. You hold on to a lot of what you've experienced, right? That you were sick for a year and you didn't know, or that you afterwards to constantly check yourself and make sure that you're still healthy, right? Because in 1 second, everything changed for me. So how do I know that in another second things won't change for me? But it's a constant understanding that we are here for something bigger. If I think that it's about me, then I will fall into the dark hole. I will fall into a very dark hole because I will constantly doubt and think and freak out. Oh my God, am I healthy? My PET scans next month and this and that. And but instead, I say, you know what? I'm excited to be put in a situation in which I will pick this up and learn and grow and push because that's what we're here for. It's not to sit and to say, oh, I have a challenge and I don't know what to do and I'm so stressed and I can't. Okay, we all have challenges and we all have difficulties and it's hard. And trust me, sometimes you have no idea who's in the room with you. You have no idea. But we're fighters. Jewish women especially, שזה יגלה לנו את המשיח בזכות נשים צדקתנו, we're going to bring Mashiach. So what I need from each and every one of you is this. This is not just a every 2 weeks type of shiur. This is Bezrat Hashem. I mean, I don't have the strength now to learn all the time. I really don't. Like I'm telling you, like maybe a few hours before my shiur, I learn and like I really do it. Most of the time, I'm really relaxing in my bed, maybe watching my Turkish shows. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But at the end of the day, I know that Hashem's like, listen, you're gonna go through your treatment. And then you think it's going to be all over. But what about all that you experienced? What about all that you still have to make sure and check and do? You think that a human doesn't get nervous to have to go do a PET scan every 3 months? You think that you don't worry when you have to do blood tests all the time? No, of course you do. That's the humanistic part of you. But that, instead of saying, I have to do this, I get to do this. I get to be in a situation in which I have to push myself and learn more and grow in my bitachon and HaKadosh Baruch Hu to strengthen myself. I get to do it. I get this opportunity. And in everything that you go through, in the challenges that you go through, I promise you, there are people even on this shiur. I don't even know your lives, but I promise you, even probably things that are even harder, right? But not everybody shares what they're going through or what they're dealing with. But I want you to know that it's not a magical formula, okay? It doesn't just work like that. When you get that out of your head that it's a magical formula and things just go when you go with the flow, like that's not how it works. It works when you are determined and you put the energy and the time and the effort. Just like in a relationship, in a friendship, you're not sitting down when you have a husband. You don't just sit down and not make food, not take care of the house, let the laundry pile up, let everything pile up until your husband literally looks at you like, I don't understand. Like, we don't have a nanny here. Like, you understand that your role to build a relationship with your husband is also to give back, is also to create a deepness, a vulnerability, a care. It takes work. In every relationship that has been deep and vulnerable, it takes work. So you think that Hashem is different? No. Hashem is just a lot more merciful. Hashem is a lot more loving. Hashem is a lot more understanding. So he gives you that space to work on yourself, to take care of yourself. Hence your own shiur. I love that. Gives you that space. He doesn't give you consequences right away. He gives you that space to grow and to really build this real, raw, vulnerable relationship. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that I was literally in my shower crying before I started the show. And I'm like, Hashem, I don't know how I'm gonna get through another treatment. You gotta help me. Like, there's my mom can't help me, my dad can't help me, my friends can't help me. This is you. This is your role. This is your role. This is your department. But the funny thing is that everything was his department. It just took this challenge to understand that. Everything is God's department. There's no department, your mom's department, your dad's department. Everything is God. So when you have the full source and you get to the source and you get to the point and the root, it's like you got a bodyguard all the time with you. You got the rock with you all the time. Like you're never afraid. You're never worried. You're never worried because Hashem's got you. He's got you. He really does. And I want to just share that, like, I stand in front of you guys with like my mitachat and my this and my that. And like, don't think that I've got it all figured out. Like, I hate when people think the teachers are like no, Not at all. Like, really, not at all. I do not got it figured out. I do not, sometimes I really don't know where I'm going. Sometimes I'm very confused. Like, sometimes I'm like somewhere else, you know? But it's okay. It's okay because I'm his daughter with or without it all, right? When we think that we need to do for God, we got it all we're misunderstanding everything. Like I remember in the beginning of my treatments, I had a rabbani that would come speak to me a lot because she went through very similar things. She's incredible. And she told me this was the beginning, even before my treatment. And I'm like, I'm gonna do shiurei Torah and I'm gonna strengthen people. And she literally looked at me. She goes, "Okay, Shani, 1 second. Let me just explain something to you. That's not the time. Like, this is not the time." And I go, "What do you mean this is not the time? Like, this is the time. Like, I have to lezakot rabim. I need to strengthen people. Like, this is the time." And she literally looked at me. She goes, "This is your time to heal. And in the times where it's very difficult for you and you literally don't find yourself praying, doing, listening to Shurim Torah, not even in that mindset, Hashem is filling you up with his light." And today I understood what she was saying. And it was such a beautiful understanding for me because I was always a doer. That's why I think a lot of people really had a, like, I know it sounds funny, like to say this about myself, but when people found out I was diagnosed, people really took it like hard because they were like, "What do you mean? Like, this girl wears a mitpachat, she always goes to shurim and she was this and she was that. Like, how does this happen?" And of course, there was always that lingering why in my head as well, but I don't give it space because that's the Yetzirah. But what I could say is that what I learned from this whole experience was that I didn't have to be anything for Hashem. It wasn't about the doing. Like, it wasn't about all of that because that's not the relationship. When you're constantly doing for Hashem, that's beautiful and may you continue to do it. But there's something about purifying the process when you really look to the real roots of why you do what you do. When you're constantly trying to do, you're missing the whole point. You're missing the fact that Hashem doesn't always need you to do. You don't always need to be. Sometimes you could just say, "Listen, Hashem, I'm your daughter. That's enough. It's enough for you to heal me. It's enough for you to be there for me. It's enough for you to carry me. It's enough for you to pick me up when I'm down. That's enough. It's enough." And I'm saying this not that I'm saying, "Oh, guys, go off the derech and it's enough." No, that's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying that when you really create such a raw relationship with Hashem and a vulnerable relationship with Hashem, you have to also allow yourself to fall into his arms, to also allow yourself to just rest, to take a step back, to say, "I can't do this anymore. It's too much. I can't do it." You got to step in. You got to do it. And it takes a big vulnerability to do that. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm 3 years married and I'm still doing that with my husband. And I promise you, even if I talk to someone that's 10 years married, they're still not there with their husband. So imagine with a Kadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows everything about you. He knows the depths of your soul. But it's not about him knowing. It's about you feeling, you being with him, understanding that he's always going to be there, that he's really just waiting for you to fall. Fall into him, fall and be vulnerable and real and raw. And that's the realness of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. And who wouldn't want a relationship with that? Who wouldn't want a relationship with a Kadosh Baruch Hu? Who wouldn't want a relationship with our Abba Sheba Shamayim that loves us to the extent that you can't even understand? Because if you think about one person in your life that loves you so much, like literally, like so much, Hashem, it's infinite compared to that. So when something bad happens, the bad is you. It's your perspective. It's your illusion. It's uncomfortable. It's hard. It sucks. Yes. Yes. When I feel nauseous, it sucks. I'm not lying to Hashem over here. I'm not telling him that it's fun. But it's not what I have to do, it's what I get to do. It's that I get to be able to serve Hashem in that raw state, in that vulnerable state, right? And sometimes we have to reach a certain level. Hashem believes in us so much that sometimes we got to reach levels and levels and hardships. But a hardship doesn't look like harm unless we view it that way, unless we restrict our mind and our ego. And that's what happens. Then the sharded glass, we feel every second of it because we don't realize that we just have to get out of the burning building. The whole point is to survive. The whole point is to live, right? When we try to get out of a burning building, it's not the point, oh, I got a cut here. Like, that's not the point here. The cuts are the anxieties, it's the fears, it's the uncomfortabilities, it's the things that we go through on a day-to-day basis that it's hard. I'm not going to lie, but there's a burning building. Like, that's the main basis. We have a tikkun. We have something to do. Don't get confused. Don't let the Yetzirah get to you because that is where we fall. That's where we fall into the deep hole, the black hole, the shame, the guilt, the oh, I should have been a better mother. Oh, I should have been a better friend. Oh my God, da 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 da. Khalas, stop. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Don't allow the Yetzirah to eat you. Don't, right? And anything that is negative and that is causing you to feel harm is the Yetzirah. Even in the mind, by the way, guys, it doesn't have to be physical harm. If you feel anxious all the time or depressed and you feel like it's harming you, then that is the Yetzirah. That is because you are not expanding the view. Why? Why are you here? Why? What's your point? Like, what are you here for? So that's really the main basics. And they say, like, even in Shaar Habitachon, he mentioned something beautiful. And he said, the Rebbe said something really, really incredible. Just I don't want to like mess it up, but the Lubavitcher Rebbe writes, a person a person unfamiliar with the advances in medical science, okay? So for example, okay, I kind of like I wrote that on my notes, but it was like kind of like a highlight. So I'm just gonna rephrase that. Um, Basically, if a person that is not aware of medical sciences, okay, let's say he's Amish, okay, never seen a hospital before, never seen an operating room, doesn't know what goes on in there, okay? Let's say he looks from the window, okay, and you can see like in the operating room. Let's say he looks at the operation table and you see these people with masks, these blue suits operating on a person when they're unconscious. Okay, like I just want to take a step back. Imagine this person has no idea what an operating room is. They're literally looking at this and being like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, I have to call the police. What's going on here? Like, this is crazy. Like, literally, someone is being cut open and in front of my eyes and they're being killed. And oh my God, and they're taking their organs and I don't know what to do. This is what he sees because he has no idea what's literally happening. But then you tell him, like, 1 second, sit down. Let me explain to you a little bit a perspective of what's going on here. What's going on here is that this person is actually like terminally sick and very ill, and we need to take out a tumor from his stomach because, in order for him to live a long and healthy life, this operation is necessary. All of a sudden, the guy is like, oh my God, the operation is so critical. It's the best decision. What just happened? Did the people with the blue suits change their clothes and tied him up and brought him back to life? No, nothing happened in the picture. Nothing changed. But what changed? The person's perspective. The person's perspective completely widened. He completely understood the why, the real why of what was going on there. And so that is our life. And it's the same thing that goes for, he gives another example, which I really liked. He said, let's say you have an experienced business person, right? That like he knows, he has his merchandise and his products and things like that. But let's say an offer comes his way and to sell, right? To sell his merchandise. And he knows that he feels like he can get a better offer. Okay. In that moment, a person's like, why are you not selling? Like you literally have the perfect time, perfect thing, perfect money. You can do it. He's like, no, like, trust me, I feel like later on is a better time to sell, okay, in the summer. And eventually, in a later date, he sells and he gets a greater profit, okay? That is the exact symbolic understanding, okay, of Hashem's goodness. A lot of times we look at our life and we're like, but I don't get it, Hashem. Like, what's going on here? Why are you not giving it to me now? Like, give it to me right now. Like, I want my refuah now. I want to stop the treatment now. I want to do this now. And he's like, but Shani, you're not getting it. Like, I know the market. I know what's going to sell better and how much profit we're going to get better later. He knows. He knows that if he doesn't give it now, then later on, the profit is bigger, the light is bigger, the benefit is bigger. And that is the same thing when I used to say with the worlds, right? The blessings, right? When you have a bigger blessing and bigger light, there's a lot more resistance, and it's going to come in the form of, God forbid, like something bad. Okay. So, like when someone tells you something that's very difficult, I want you to literally pick them up, put some music on, and start dancing because something very good is coming their way. A lot of light is coming their way. And this is not me that's making it up, guys. Like, you can literally look at Shaar Habitachon. I'm not that smart. Okay. Like, he literally says it in here in the forward. Okay. When something is difficult, when something is hard, you're just get ready, get excited because something beautiful and powerful and light, full of light is coming your way. And we always see that in life, by the way. If you look back at your life, you're always going to see that. You're going to see that, oh, something was so hard for you. And then all of a sudden you had a great period of time. Like something happened and, or you got pregnant or you had a baby, da, da, da. Like there was so many good things that happened. And then again, okay, you had a harder time, and then you go back up and you go out. That's what it is. That's what life is. But just know that the stronger the yerida, the harder the yerida, the more the aliyah, the higher you get. So know that when you say, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta go through this, say, I get to go through this. Because the fact that you're getting to go through this, as much as you may see it as something very bad, just like we saw in the operating room, it's all about the perspective. It's all about how you see it. And I promise you guys, really from my own experience, I'm telling you 100%. Did it change the nausea that I had? Did it change the week that it was very hard for me? No. But something was different in me. Something was different. And my mom even knew it. I remember I was talking to my mom and she goes, wow, like Shani, like you seem better, like you seem more. And I said, it's because for the first time, by the way, like I had like a lot of treatments before and I still wasn't accepting it. I said, for the first time, I felt like I accepted. I accepted that I get to do this. I accept that despite the uncomfortable, despite the difficulty, despite sometimes even the pain, right? I get to do this for HaKadosh Baruch Hu because I'm too small and constricted to see what more there is for me. And so the time being is what really matters to me. And what I can do is to serve Hashem with the most rawness and joy at the same time. Because when you really get to know who Hashem is, when you really get to know who our Father is, everything is good. Everything is beautiful. Because it's all about the perspective. It's all about the understanding that we don't know much and that Hashem knows everything. And I promise you, they say that when you go up to Shemaim, I don't know the word, I forgot it, but I learned it in seminary. They say that people that go up to Shemaim and they asked why down here, a lot of whys, like, why did this happen? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? They regretted it tremendously up there. They say it in the, I don't know exactly where I saw, but in my seminary, they explained it. And it was so beautiful to hear that because we see the perspective. We understand that it was an operating room, not a murder scene, right? And that's the difference. And so I hope for us all, really, Bezrat Hashem, that we see life in the lens of an operating room. I know it sounds really funny, but yes, like that we see life in a wider perspective, in the understanding that Hashem is a Kol Yachol, that He knows a lot more than our limited brain, that when you're in times of difficulty or in distress, that you say, it's not what I've got to do during this time, it's what I get to do for Hashem during this time, to bring Hashem during the darkness, to push through the difficulty with Hashem. And we really, really, I love that, BB. Down here, we have no answers. Up there, there are no questions. And it's very true. And because we live in an upside down world. Unfortunately, that's just the world we live in. And the faster you accept that that's the world we live in, the more relief you have. The more you understand that you're being taken care of every step of every way. And Hashem loves each and every one of you, really. And each word tonight was specifically for every neshama in this room. And Bezrat Hashem, really, 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 I really hope that Bezrat Hashem for all Cholei Amo Yisrael, that we all hear just Mashiach come already because we need it. And yeah, Bezrat Hashem may hopefully easier treatments and full clean PET scans moving forward, Bezrat Hashem. Um, and yes, if anyone has any questions or comments or just want to share anything, please feel free. This is like a space where I really want people to feel vulnerable and okay to share. But if not, you're more than welcome to go off. Good night. And thank you again for showing up and being here.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Bibi.
Sorry I was late, but the last half hour was so impactful. Thank you.
You heard what you got to hear, Bibi.
Literally, so
Literally.
beautiful. Love you.
Shan, thank you, Bibi. Love you.
I loved everything you said. I have a question.
Yeah.
Like, practically, like, I'm not there and I would love to get there.
We're
Like,
not there, Karen.
what are the steps? Like,
Okay,
talk about.
beautiful. I love that question. And I think everybody is probably like, okay, this girl's like in La La Land. Let's figure out how we get practical. But I think that hearing this over and over again and getting it into your mind really does help. I think that in the first shiurim that I did, I said, even Shaar Habitachon says that in order for a person to really increase his bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's through determination and practice. So it's like really, I know it's not a magical formula, but it really is that if I were to give you any advice on how to really strengthen your bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu and get to that place, you see this book over here. If anyone doesn't have it, you can get it on Amazon. I have a couple of ones here in my house. Um, every day you read one page, okay, at least. If you can't do more than one page, that's okay. If it's too hard for you, you can do even half a page. But every single day, you need to count. Even you can team up with even a friend that keeps you accountable. But it's not like a magical formula. It really is like down to the point where if you really take this book and you sit and you read at least one page a day, I promise you it will change your life. There was a story actually I heard of a girl that had like a stage 4 cancer, like a very, very bad cancer, like really bad. By the way, don't you get medical assistance when you have a cancer, but in this case, it was very different. I guess a rabbi told her like you should learn Shaar Habitachon like very rigorously, like like rigorously, and that's what she did. And she completely healed. She didn't need to do any treatment, nothing. She completely healed her cancer. And it wasn't her. It was that when she understood that everything was a Kadosh Baruch Hu, she became a Baal Bitachon. She understood that there was something a lot greater, and she completely, really, like completely kind of annulled herself to that. I'm not saying that we all need to get to that level right now, but I'm saying that when you are determined and you learn, that is what gets you through the days. That's it. Right? When you learn shurim, when you listen to shurim, even when you're like cooking or doing something, even if you're not listening, your neshama is listening, it helps. Shaar Habitachon, every single day you put an alarm clock. Like you wake up, you put an alarm. I need to learn. You sit down and you learn at least one page. Hopefully by the end of a couple of months, you're already going to be done. You start again. But I promise you, even by the second, third, fourth chapter, you're already going to be a different person. Like I've seen people that have literally told me, like Shani, Shaar Habitachon literally changed my life. Like I've seen them take on steps in their life that I'm like, whoa, like this is crazy. I also have a personal group chat on WhatsApp, not me, but someone that does it. His name is Michael Savdi. He does 10-minute voice notes on WhatsApp, and he is incredible. Like, very, very, very strong on bitachon and emuna, and like he's a very powerful character. I think that many people that I've sent to him, they keep listening, and they said it was life changing. So it's not a secret formula. It's really determination and practice. And you guys all need to get yourself the Shaar Habitachon book and every single day read a little bit of it. It will change your life. I'm ready to do it. After my treatments, God willing, I wish I had that energy now to do it, which to be honest with you, like I'm a little bit like checked out. But I hope with God's strength, I will continue to do it. But after my treatments, I really want to dedicate that time to learn, like really learn and enmesh myself in the work of like who Hashem is, because that's the only way you get through your challenges and your difficulties. And it's not a difficult answer to your question. It really is something that I think many people try to avoid because we don't want to really sit down and learn, and we're like, oh, it's the Yetzer Hara. The higher you have the Yetzer Hara, the more resistance, it's trying not to get you to learn. So just know that when you're going forward, it's gonna push you, Karen. You're gonna forget one day, then you're gonna be like, oh, it's too late, and then your friend's gonna call you at the time, and then you're gonna see so many things are gonna show up. But that's why they say determination. You gotta be determined. You gotta push through it because that's what gets us to serve Hashem really with full bitachon and happiness at the end of the day.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Of course, I hope I answered the question. Any other questions? Oh, Oren, I'm so happy. That really, really makes me happy. There's also another book for all of you guys, any of you guys that have anxieties or want to learn a little bit more about the psychology of fight or flight mode and bitachon. There is this book. I'm gonna show it to you right now. It's this book called, this is how it looks. How bitachon works. Okay, it says the path to tranquility in everyday moments and extraordinary times. Okay, so this is a very great book. It really helped me through also my treatments. Um, and it just, you gotta be in the learning. You got to. That's what helps. That's what does. And not when anxiety surfaces, guys. It's like when they tell me to take medications for my nausea, but they're like, but don't take it when you're nauseous. Like take it a little bit before so that it could start acting, right? Like, it's the same thing. Don't like, when you're about to get sick, take vitamins before. Don't take vitamins when you're already sick. It's just going to be harder for you to recuperate. So learn emunan bitachon constantly so that when hardships arise, which they will, okay, you're prepared. You're prepared to fight and you're prepared to give to Hashem, you're prepared to serve with simcha, and Hashem gives you the strength. I promise you that. He will give you the strength. I can't wait to hear your stories when he does give you that strength. Okay, I'm going to stop recording.